Court Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe, I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years.
Let's get ready to rumble. 48 hours from now, Presidents Biden and Trump will once again face off, meeting on stage for the first presidential debate of the 2024 general election. The debate comes as Trump continues to lead Biden nationally. The Real Clear Politics average of polls has Trump up a point over Biden, 46.2 to 45.2, really close. But elections, of course, aren't called at the national level. It doesn't really matter. It's all about those important swing states. Starting in the West, Real Clear Politics average of polls has Trump leading in Arizona and Nevada. Wisconsin is tied, and Trump is up slightly in Michigan. Moving east, Trump leads by 2.8 points in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. Tom Bevan is the co-founder and president of Real Clear Politics, a great service. He knows more about polling than just about anybody else. He joins us now with more. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. We appreciate the work you do. What is the state of the race right now? Is Donald Trump ahead?
He is. And you know what? It's actually, his lead's been remarkably stable given everything that's gone on with the convictions of the 34 felony counts and all of these things. We take an average of those big seven battleground states and look at that over time. And Trump's lead has been around 3 points. It's at 3.2 right now. But for the last 8 months, I mean, it really hasn't changed that much. As you mentioned, at the national level, he's up 1 point. That is a close race. But just to put that in perspective, on this day 4 years ago, during the 2020 election, Joe Biden was up 10 points in that race. So Trump is in a much stronger position this time around than he was 4 years ago. But again, this race, there's a lot that can happen between now and Election Day, and certainly this debate is going to be one of those pivotal moments.
Yeah, one of the biggest debates we have seen in a long time. So what issues do voters care about the most in terms of what they're telling you?
Well, I mean, the data on this is pretty clear. Every single poll, the economy, inflation, costs are at the top of the list. Now, that doesn't mean, certainly Republicans care a lot about immigration. That's high on their list. Democrats are caring about abortion and the threat to democracy. And so each of the candidates is going to try and, hit on those issues as well, even though they don't rank as high overall. But again, either one of those candidates, if they're not able to address the concerns that voters have about the inflation and the economy, that's going to be a real missed opportunity. And, particularly with those undecided voters, there are very few of them left out there who don't have opinions about these two candidates. But they're the ones that I think these candidates really need to speak to.
And what messaging would be the smartest thing on that to win them over?
Well, I mean, Joe Biden has to come up with, he has to show a record of accomplishments. Certainly Trump is going to talk about his time in office and ask that question that Ronald Reagan famously asked, in the 1980 campaign, which was, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And according to what the data shows, voters are looking back at Trump's time in office much more favorably than they did at the time, particularly on those economic issues. And so that's something that he'll talk about. And Joe Biden will talk about how he's lowered prescription drug costs, student debt forgiveness, and those sorts of things to try and give voters some sort of breathing room in this economy. Because, when you talk about where the prices are at the gas pump, at the grocery store, rent and home buying, it's a real struggle for a lot of people out there.
In terms of how debates matter or how much they matter, a lot of people in the past have said that they're sort of overrated in terms of how much they matter. But we've never had a debate this early before. We've never had a presidential candidate in his 80s like this before. How much do you think that this debate matters, and what does history tell us?
Yeah, I mean, we can argue that one round or square. I mean, the last time that, debate mattered significantly, I mean, you could maybe say it was the 1960 debate between Nixon and JFK, first one on television. Obviously, that was a huge pivotal moment in that race. In some of these other races, candidates have stumbled but found their footing. Ronald Reagan's debate, his first debate wasn't great. Barack Obama's debate in 2012, that election, his first debate wasn't very good, but he recovered in the next debate. The question here is whether there will be another debate. There is one scheduled for September 10th on ABC News, but they have not set a venue for that. And I suspect that this might be the only presidential debate that we get this cycle. And therefore, to your point, I think it's hugely important. I think this is the only chance that these two candidates are going to get to speak directly to voters and make their case in what is right now a pretty darn close race.
And in those debates, they had another debate a few weeks away. Now, even if there is that ABC debate, which may not happen, it's months away. So what happens is going to matter. Real quickly, Donald Trump's got to pick a running mate within the next few weeks. Is the polling telling you anything in terms of that, in terms of what would be the best for him to do?
Not particularly. I mean, there was a straw poll that was taken at an event in Detroit last week, a conservative conference, Turning Point Action. And that straw poll, again, not scientific, but I think J.D. Vance was the overwhelming favorite. He got 43%. So he's a favorite of the MAGA base. But certainly the other ones that are on the short list, Marco Rubio, Doug Burgum, Tim Scott still in the running a little bit. All of those candidates, I think, have their pluses and minuses. But at the end of the day, this is about who's at the top of the ticket, even though there are concerns about age, which I think makes the vice presidential pick a little bit more important and relevant this time around. But at the end of the day, people are going to be voting for either Donald Trump or Joe Biden.
As we hear every single 4 years, we talk about the Veep stakes, and it's usually overrated. Tom, thank you so much for what you do. I read Real Clear Politics every day. I find it very, very helpful, and it's an important resource. Thank you.
Thank you.